But then I suppose this is also a moment of clarity for us. Eh? No get out of jail free cards. Let's just accept it exactly for what it is.
We needed a reset anyways. We needed that reset anyways. I think even this win wasn't going to paper over anything. We needed the reset anyways. We just chose to go about it the long route.
This Amorim guy. Mark my words, December is out. He's out.
Nah, you can't even say that. The whole premise of keeping him is to give him a preseason and give him a window and change things. So
I think
that's a nonsense take without even seeing.
No, but he's just adding so much more pressure.
The worst in a long time. The worst. You don't keep that around just to give him a chance. No,
guys, we need some context.
There's managers that have done much better that have had less of a chance.
We need some context here. Like I think this Ruben stuff is a little bit crap. These guys came in, right? They told him change the game model, right? They didn't want to hire him because they knew that it would require a drastic change because they knew that we don't have the players, right? No. Hang on. This is not about come in and play 4-4-2 and make it to the end of the season. That wasn't the point of it. Because otherwise you keep Ten Hag in. Then what's the point?
Cool. Question. 2016, no?
Yeah.
I'm gonna mention teams above you.
No, but we're going on a silly journey now. Yeah.
Wait. I want you to tell me stop when I get to a team that's better than you. Just players.
Okay.
Manager aside.
Cool.
Right.
Fulham better than us.
West Ham.
Palace better than us.
West Ham.
Yeah.
West Ham, are they better?
No, West Ham is not better.
Cool. Wolves.
Not better than us.
Wait, sorry, I'm getting the table.
Everton.
I'm opening the table. Everton's not better.
Crystal
Palace is better.
Yeah,
Crystal Palace is better.
So
Bournemouth is better. Fulham is better.
So at least 13 then, by that logic.
Yeah, but like, what's that? Okay, cool. You're 16th, not 13th. Like, what's that? The point is the point is
what it tells me is that the teams that are above you deserve to be above you, because even if I take into account the fact that you have to change systems on the pitch, they have better players than you, therefore it makes sense. Meaning, if you do anything above that, you're overachieving. That I can understand. The only reason you guys aren't relegated right now is because Leicester and Ipswich are not shit.
Yeah, that's fine.
But you're not. In any other regular season, you guys are out. You're out.
Yeah, but I think there's, like sometimes when you have these arguments, you have to look at nuance, right? Circumstances, you behave a way because circumstances are a certain way. You can't just say, you can't just say that if whatever. Obviously, I promise you now that if it wasn't like that, and if safety wasn't pretty much guaranteed, he would have abandoned his principles. He would have done 4-4-2. The point is, you could have gotten Sean Dyche in. He could have done his 4-4-2. We would have finished 12th, 9th, even maybe, whatever. But what does that do? That does nothing. It just kicks the can down the road. We're not going to build with Sean Dyche. We're not going to do that. So what's the point of that? So no.
All
but
I'm
hang on. The point is,
has severely underperformed. Severely.
Yeah, no, he has. He has. This man has also had a shit team.
At this point.
So the season right before this season, we had our worst Premier League season ever. So he hardly came. Hang on. And he came in at 12th, right? After our worst season ever.
Even lower.
But that's fine. But that's fine. But this is hang on. This is where you're choosing to miss the context here. Because I'm saying that the season before this was our worst season ever, right? He came in at 12th. And at 12th, now you're doing a major reset of the system that you do not have the personnel of. That you don't, but saying I don't care means that you don't care for logic. Then it means you don't.
Managers have systems.
But what I
your job is to get the best out of your play to adapt to your system. If that is not working.
No.
What you have to worry.
You're not the remates when they got him in. They said that why they fired Ten Hag? They gave him a new contract, right? They said, my guy, we're giving you time. What we want to see is, we know that this squad is problematic. What we want to see is a consistent system so that we can weed out which players are bad here, so that we know that when we get to the window, we know who to sell, who to buy. What happened? Ten Hag played. There was no system. They're like, my guy, we can't work with this. The results are tanking. There's no system. We're gonna get to the summer. We still have no idea we're in the same place. So they're like, my guy, stick to your system here. We know that the squad is a problem. That's why we didn't want to bring you in, and we were arming and ahhing for like 2 months while Ten Hag was going whatever, until eventually we did it, right? Ruben said he didn't want to come. They said, no, you come now or forget about this job, kind of thing. So they said, we know that it's going to take time, and we know that the squad doesn't fit your system, and we know it. Stick to your system. Don't change it, because we want to see who's not working, so that when it comes to the summer, we know that we can't just say we're being ruthless without a plan, so that we know what the plan is, so that we know who we need to sell. We need to know which areas we need to strengthen in. You were just saying it now. We're a team that has like 8 10s. We barely have a DM. We barely have a right. We don't even have a right wing. Ahmad was happenstance at right wing back. We don't have a right wing back. We don't have a striker. There's just so many things that we don't have, right?
Question mark. Have you guys been relegated? Would you have the same energy?
No, look, but this is you can't just remove context.
Look,
you can't just argue without context, bro. You can't just argue without context.
I accept the point.
System, no matter what, system is going to take time. Then by that logic, you should be willing to go as far as getting relegated, because it's about the system, right? It's not about staying up. Surely not. It's not about results.
Yeah, but that's fine. But we're not relegated. So what is even the point you're making? No, what is even the point? Because obviously, when you see that we're going to relegation, you change things. But that's not happening. That was not happening. So what's the point?
The point that I'm making is there is no circumstance on earth, and here I blame Amorim and I blame the club. The whole thing is a mess. There is no circumstance whatsoever where, for the sake of a system and sticking to principle, you're almost getting relegated.
So if Amorim adapted, and then we finished 11th, what's the gain there? Nothing.
The gain
it's absolutely nothing.
No, it's not absolutely nothing. The gain is there's a plan B that can actually work and get a result. So if you stand in next season, is not for a game or
no. Now the gain is now your market is compromised now, because you start looking at it and you're like, okay, cool. This squad is now good enough for 11th, maybe 1 or 2 things, and then we can move up. No, but you can't just create hypotheticals where only your points are true and no other points are true.
But then look, now, the issue then becomes the expectations. The expectations for Amorim next season, it's like the noise is just going to be so loud.
Yeah. But the thing is,
after the performance dropped so,
and he said, and
the noise is going to be unbearable.
But that's the thing. You're acting like Amorim is coming here and saying that I'm whatever the players. This guy has said himself that he's shit. It's fine. But like,
all I'm simply saying is, as much as I get the whole theory of system, put your system in no matter what. If that's the logic, then relegation should have been fine.
Yeah.
If relegation was no, don't get us there. What it means.
But you don't know that it wasn't fine. You don't know that it wasn't fine.
Hang on. All I'm simply saying is, if he shandiced it for a couple of games and got you high up the table and made you guys look a bit more respectable, the takeaway from that is, in the off chance that he can't get all his players to play system perfectly, there's at least a backstop that can work. Right now, what we know is he better get his players, otherwise he's doomed.
But no. It's actually no. It's actually not that.
He's doomed.
No. It's actually not that. It's actually not that. You're actually wrong. You're actually wrong, because our squad is imbalanced, right? So our squad, the way it is, right? Our squad is built for counter only. We've seen these guys try every other type of football. Nothing works. Just counter. He doesn't have the options for a plan B. He does not. Which options that still make sense. You can't just go from this system all the way to that system. Even when you do your plan B, right? It must still be with the eye on the prize, and we're compromising a little. We don't have the players for that. 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 We've barely had an 11 this whole season, right?
You have no players for plan B.
Yeah.
You have no players for plan B.
Yeah, we don't want to play counter attack. We've been seeing that for 7 years. We've been seeing that for 7 years. We've been seeing that for 7 years. Right. Don't bring your you've got frustrations with Arteta here. You've got frustrations with Arteta.
And I want him gone.
Yeah. Give you Arteta frustrations.
Go. Chief, my biggest criticism of Arteta is the exact same thing. You don't have a plan B, Chief. You're not actively working for
Arteta's 7 years deep. That's like, bro,
I don't
like
care.
this guy.
And I still want to know.
This guy has not even had one preseason. One preseason.
Chief. All I'm saying is, what we know for a fact right now is you better get the right signings that can make his football work. Because if it doesn't, you've endured all this pain for what?
Yeah, but that's on the owners. That's on the owners. They took
him.
That's a gamble. No.
It means that Amorim
It's on
really
him.
is- It means that Amorim really is a long-term project. Then you
Yeah,
can't pull the
exactly.
plug. So if you see things, then you can't pull the plug. Then you
No. You can. I think they gave him a
losing
2-year contract for a reason, right? They gave him a 2-year contract for a reason. But the minute you as owners, right?
It's all better than this, guys. What guys? Come on.
The minute you as an owner say mid-season we're going in a completely drastic thing, and we acknowledge. No, hang on, my guy. Can I finish my point? The minute you as an owner say that mid-season we're doing an overhaul, and you acknowledge that we don't have the pieces to this puzzle, from that minute, before this guy even comes in, from the minute you make that decision, you need to be prepared for pain. And pain is not going to be like, oh, okay, cool, we can drop down 2-3 places. You can't quantify what that pain is. But the minute you acknowledge that and you make that decision, then you have to back him. Because if you go and you sack him now, then you as the owners, you look like flipping clowns. You look like, so you have to back your man. You have to back your man. So the minute they made that choice, they had to back him all the way.
No.
You can argue all you want. He's gonna be here. He's gonna be here next season. So you can, and he knows he's gonna start under pressure. He's said it in so many presses.
These are footballing
And we all
opinions.
know.
Well, and there's nothing I'm gonna say that you're gonna say that's gonna change anything. We know that. So that's like a non sequitur. That's irrelevant. All I'm simply saying is, if he got sacked, from my perspective, I would respect the managers, because what you're simply saying is, I made a call. I'm gonna back this guy. However, there's a certain threshold that we can never cross. And when Man United, relegation can't be it.
No,
This
what
is
you're
But I
saying?
suppose in this case, you can always say we didn't get relegated. We just
Yeah,
stopped.
that's the thing. We're having like a nonsense argument because like it's a hypothetical, but in this hypothetical, only certain things are true and then other things are not true. Like where does the hypothetical start? This is not the reality. This is not the reality.
The point is, he is severely underperforming for the players that he has.
I don't think so. Having seen these players for 7 years, I don't think so. I don't think so.
These same 7 players have achieved a lot better than this.
Yeah, in a completely different system, yes.
Yeah.
And they weren't even good. Then.
My worry is that it just plays.
All I'm saying is demonstrate to me that you've squeezed this juice for as much as you can, and he has failed to do that for me.
That's fine. Okay, that's fine. That's fine though.
It places so much pressure on this preseason.
Yeah,
on the
it does.
transfer market.
That it does.
It's just like, it's just unbearable. Even when you think about it, it's just like shit. Amorim next season, man, from day one.
100%. And I think he knows that as well. He knows that. He said that as well, right? He said that as well. So I think he knows that. Everybody knows that. The owners know that. So everybody knows that. So I think the argument that we're making is sort of like a moot argument, because we all know that he's going to start with pressure. But that doesn't mean that you don't give him the benefit of the doubt. You don't give him the preseason. You don't give him players. Because the fact is, he is going to get players for his system. He is going to get a preseason. And you can't preempt what's going to happen there. You can't.
No, I can't.
What
I can is tell you what has happened, which is abject failure.
But we all know what happened. So like, my point is, so what? What must happen?
Wow.
What must happen? Like, the thing is, like, you're becoming like it's like a microwave. The problem with fans today is like it's a microwave thing. Everybody wants change, but nobody wants to build. Nobody wants to stick it out. We knew this. Amorim said in his second press conference, there's gonna be a storm, guys. We're gonna suffer this season, but the reason we're doing it is because we're setting up. It's like people just were like, oh yeah, haha, he's just saying that because whatever. He said that because the board knows. That's why they're backing him. They knew the enormity of the task. I'm not saying that next season I'm not going to put him under pressure. I'm not saying he hasn't underperformed. He's owning it. He says that. So that's cool. I know you're not a delusional guy. I know you've got a plan. I need to at least give you one preseason, and give you players. Just one preseason and players. And then if you're still shit, then you must go. But give him the chance.
All I'm saying is it better work.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's going to be long.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But that's fine.
And also,
right?
Also,
because you could have said the same thing about Fergie. You could have said the same thing about Fergie when he came in. Fergie was teaching.
Fergie came after beating Real Madrid in Europe.
With
So
Aberdeen.
he
Yeah.
deserved time.
With
He
Aberdeen.
deserved
So
time.
no.
He deserved time.
No. No. Fergie
How
came
long
in
did it
with
take to win his first trophy?
it was
him a while, eh?
it took him a while. He was shit.
Only a
Fergie
season or two.
no, Fergie was on the
The
brink,
league,
bruh.
yes, took a while, but not the cups.
No. Fergie was on the brink. There was Fergie out. It was the big thing. It was like this with Amorim. It was exactly the same as this, actually.
So Amorim is Fergie 2.0 now.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you can't preempt the future, and you need to give the man a preseason, give him a window. If he's still underperforming, get rid of him. If he's still
I'm going to
underperforming,
hold you to that standard.
that's fine. That's fine. If he's still
I'm gonna hold you to
underperforming, but it's like you'll never build anything if you never give somebody a chance to build. All I'm saying is that he came in, he was
You have to
given a
earn the
raw
chance,
team coming
Chief.
in. He came in, he was given a raw deal. We know that these players are shit. We've been saying these players are shit for so long, under so many managers. We know this. This is not new information. I'm just saying, give him a window, give him time. If he's still shit, they gave him a 2.5-year deal for a reason, right? So that if they have to pay
man.
more, it's not long.
He gave Spurs a trophy. That's a sackable offense in itself.
Yeah, but LG, you're right though. Tish, you don't bring Arteta frustrations, dog. Like you just want to see a manager's
Yeah,
fire.
this guy just wants to see heads roll because he's frustrated at home.
You want to see guys
Bruh.
enjoy, dog.
Bruh.
Yo, man.
This guy.
Yes.
Standard.
And then,
You're unhappy at home. Don't bring
Yeah,
your
but then-
unhappiness here, bro.
and then in your situation, unfortunately, like Arteta's not going anywhere, dog. Like Arteta
That's not the
is
point.
so in, you know.
Yeah.
It's
That's
sacking is just,
infuriating.
you know.
That's infuriating that he's sticking around and he's getting arrogant as ever. It's infuriating. Because you're not winning, Chief. 3/4 of a billion, you're not winning.
But it's different, right? Because he's been there for a while. So you've seen what he can do and he's spent the money and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I've also seen what he
This-
can't do.
Yeah, but he's had the
win.
chance to do it. That's the point. He's had the chance to do it. This guy's not had the chance
But
to
then
do it.
what about is it a valid question to say, do you fire a manager until you know there's a valid replacement available? Or do you
No.
just fire a manager and just wait? Because isn't that another part of sacking? Isn't that another part of sacking the guy? Is
It is a part of
who's
it.
coming in
You
and
have to
not-
know, I think, in my opinion. Like, for example, I think Ancelotti would have been sacked sooner if there was someone available that was competent. Like, for example, Madrid would sack managers often for fun. But
Yeah.
they normally have a competent replacement to follow, and they normally do well, or something like that.
How many times did Chelsea get an interim manager end of the season and then we find another manager later?
Yeah.
Avram
Yeah.
Grant, Gus Hiddink, Roberto Di Matteo. So like that, it's not the only way.
No, yeah, of course, but I get it. Obviously, under guys like Roman Abramovich, you're dealing with an owner who is ambitious, so he will keep things tracking along until there's a win.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be lit next season. It is, but like,
and from day one.
from day one. No, 100%. I think
Day one.
Amorim would be naive if he thought he'd get more time. But I think he's already said it. Like probably 10 pressers ago, he's already said next season I won't have this time. Blah 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 blah. That's fine. He knows it, right? And if it doesn't, we move.
Breathing room, but yeah.
For me, what this trophy would have done, because I mean, there's a lot of people who've been saying like, even if we win, just sack him anyways. What this trophy would have done for me, it would have made the rebuild happen faster because the quality of players we can recruit changes. Now, instead of going for Enquiries, we're going to go for a Liam Delap. It's not quite the same.
Class.
So now, what could have taken 2 years now maybe takes 4 years to get there in terms of adding, I'm talking not even a table or anything, just adding quality to the squad.
Is the fixture list output for next season yet? Probably not, no?
Fixture list, no, it happens after the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't believe Spurs won a trophy. And we gave it to them.
Oh, you need to be embarrassed. You need to be embarrassed. Find shame. I'm not going to name it. Timo Werner.
Timo Werner picking up a winner's medal here.
You guys still watching?
Yeah, I mean,
Flipping heck, man.
The guy's about to lift the trophy now, so
Son is now a Spurs legend.
pretty much. Harry Kane couldn't.
All Tottenham did here was park the bus, man, and they walk
Yeah.
away with the trophy.
But again, like just every game we've lost to them, bruh, outside of that 3-0 from Ten Hag, every single game we've walked to them, bruh. It's been like this. It's hey, bruh. I don't usually win things, mate. I always win things in my second year. That's the quote of the season, eh?
Yeah.
That's the quote of the season.
Always win things in the season.
Man.
Always.
We are so crap. And that's the problem. Now it's going to be an onslaught. Like, just this, it's going to be an onslaught on Amorim. He's going to have a long ass summer. Even though he's not getting sacked or whatever, but just scrutiny.
No, I think, like I said, he has to hit the ground sprinting, not even running. He has to start sprinting. Like that system better gel. There better be chances created. You guys better put on the pitch. Otherwise,
But you know what I don't understand about the system is for a team that seems to have more number 10s than he knows what to do with. There's nothing coming down the middle. It's always switch out wide, ball in. You know, if he's not going to switch systems, maybe have different iterations of the system, have variation in the system. You know,
so for me, like this game for me, for example, right? Ahmad was always wide. Not sure if you guys noticed, he was always hiding the flank. That for me was wing back, Mazraoui, right centre mid, Bruno being the 10, Ugarte cover. He needed someone in that half space the whole time to do something with. It was clear because I mean, how many times did you see Mazraoui here, 2 meters away from the touch line, and then Ahmad a meter away from the touch line? I'm like, that's a waste. One player can occupy that position. Who's in that gaping 10?
it goes back to the Bruno.
It goes back to the Bruno. Yeah, it goes back to the starting lineup.
Unfortunately, the solution for us is we need 2 Brunos and we have 1. That's United's problem right now.
Where's Eriksen? He's injured.
Yeah, he's old, that guy.
He's finished. I don't think he's injured. I think he's just been struggling to get through games. Yeah. No, not even fitness, just like to keep up.
He's finished. Quality player, but he's finished.
Yeah. So, even Kobe in that 10 and keep Bruno deep would have made a big difference on that right inside.